Well, hello folks, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to show you how to do form validation. Now, there's actually a few different ways that we can do this. I'm going to show you one technique in this video, and then another technique in the next video. You can just choose the one that you like. So, let's hit submit. We have this form here that we've made, and you can see that if we hit submit, it takes us to books/submit, and sure enough, that's an empty page. So I'm going to start by opening up my books module, and I'm going to have a little method. You can have it anywhere you want. Actually, I'll just have it up here. Why not? And I'll call it submit, okay? Now, you'll notice that when we got here, we pressed a submit button, and we can actually fetch that submit button. We can say submit is post submit, and if we echo submit, then hit refresh, and you'll see that it gives us the value of the button. That's the value of the button that we made on our form here. Okay, so one thing that we could do is we could say if submit is equivalent to submit with an uppercase S. Alright, fair enough. Now, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to call upon a class that's inside our engine folder. I'll just give you a quick look at this thing. It's called the validation helper. Okay, so it's really just a PHP class, and all of this is covered in the documentation. If you look at the section, it says the form validation helper. Everything you need to know is right here. And in fact, we've got this validation rules reference, and we can use this to set form validation rules. Let me just demonstrate. So, we have a bunch of posted stuff, right? Now, by the way, did you know that Trongate comes with a handy Json method that can show you what has been posted, or it can present any array actually, or any object in a nice kind of a way? And if we say $_post like that, check this out. I'm going to save. I'm going to head back here. Now let's just hit refresh. So I'm resubmitting, and look at that. All of our posted stuff is right here. Okay, so if I just take you back, here's our form. I'll tick publish, right? And I'll just say book title, some title, Gone with the Wind. I'll select an author. And there you go. Look at that. Isn't that fantastic, Ola? So you can see these are the different form fields for which we're going to create validation rules, and let's get started. So the way that we do this is we call upon our validation helper class. We can load this up like so. We're going to say this, load up validation helper. And on the validation helper, you can see my autocomplete's running ahead. There is a thing called set rules. So we say set rules and parenthesis. Now set rules takes in 3 arguments. The first argument is the name of the form field. So for example, title is the name of our first form field. So I'm going to say title. The next argument is the label for our form field. Now you can say title like that, or you can say book title, anything that makes you feel good. Sometimes the title will actually match the name of the form field, but just something that says in a meaningful way what this form field is. So I'm going to say book title. And the last argument is going to be our validation rules. This is where we're going to call upon the documentation, and we're going to pick some rules from this validation rules reference. For example, let's say you wanted the title to be required. So in other words, they're not allowed to leave it empty. It must have something there, right? So you can see here it says rule required, gives you a little description, and then it shows you how you actually create this thing. And in this case, you just write the word required. So let's do that. So we're just going to say required. Easy as that, right? Now, say you wanted another rule, such as minimum length is 3. Again, I'm looking at the validation rules reference. I can see that it says minimum length. And over on the right hand side, we've got an example of how that works. So what we do is we pipe the rules together. That's the word. And it basically means using this symbol here, which hopefully you'll be able to find. And so we're going to say min underscore length and then 3. Okay, there we go. Fair enough. So what we're doing, we're saying that the book title here is required and it has a minimum length of 3. Now we can keep on going like this. For example, maximum length. Okay, max length. And we can say, okay, it's got a maximum length of 75. I'm just making this up as I go along, right? And all of this stuff is available here on the validation rules reference page. Just check it out. And they're all here. Okay. So that will do us for that. Now let's do some other rules. We'll do one for the description. So it's going to be this. Validation helper. Set rules. So I'm going to just say description. Now that's the name of the form field. And you can call it something like book description. And again, I'll just say required for this one. That will do us. We'll make this easy, right? And what else have we got? We've got an author ID. So I'll say this. Validation helper. I'm going to say set rules. Author ID. So that's the name of the form field. It's author underscore ID. But I'm going to give it a description of author. And I'll say that that is required. Okay, now I'm not going to bother with the published one. You actually do not have to set validation rules for each and everything. That will do us, and I think that's just fine. Now, let's run the validation tests. In fact, I'll write that as a comment. Run the validation tests. All right, so the way that we do this is we're going to call upon the validation helper again. In fact, let me just do that. This validation helper. And inside the validation helper, there's a method by the name of run. Okay, it's called run. Now, run is going to run all of these tests on the posted data, and it returns true or false. That's what it does. So let's say that result is validation helper run. We know that result is going to be true or false, right? And if result is true, so if the result is equivalent to true, everything was fine, then we're going to echo well done. But if things don't go well, I'm not going to just echo fail or something like that. We can actually do something a little bit more meaningful. We can just call upon validation errors and then parenthesis. Now this is something that comes with the Trongate framework, and it's going to give us a nice text summary of any form validation errors that we had. So let's save this, and we're going to go back to our page here. All right. And I'm going to submit this. Now, notice, in fact, let me just refresh this page here. Okay, so the form is empty, all right? It's an empty form, and I'm going to press submit. And as you can see, we have a whole bunch of form validation errors here. In fact, let's do something else. Let's give it a book title of OK. Now, the book title is actually too short. I'll say the description's okay though. Here is a description, so no problems with that. And if we hit submit, you'll see it says the book title field must be at least 3 characters in length. Kinda cool. Kinda cool. Alright, So I think that's all I want to do for this video. To show you the thing working, Gone with the Wind, we'll keep the description in. You would choose an author, maybe say published, and as you can see it says well done. That's the basics of form validation, and I do hope that you found this useful.